The holographic deed flickered in Benny's trembling hands, its quantum-encrypted text cycling through 17 languages before settling on standard English. Zex Thor had left him everything. The wandering neutrino, a Class IV orbital diner stationed at the Kepler 442 waypoint, complete with its antimatter reactor, neural net kitchen systems, and 2 very unexpected residents. "He never mentioned you," Benny said, staring at the 2 figures standing in the diner's main corridor. Elsa crossed her arms, her vulpine features rust-red fur, elongated snout, and amber eyes with horizontal pupils remaining perfectly still. The bioluminescent patterns along her temples pulsed once, a sign of irritation Benny would come to recognize. Behind her, a smaller version of herself peered around her mother's leg, ears flat against her skull. Zex Thor mentioned many things he never followed through on, Elsa replied, her voice modulated through a translation implant that gave it an unsettling synthetic undertone. Apparently, explaining his family to his human friend was one of them. The wandering neutrino had operated for 43 years at this junction, serving travelers from the 17 species that comprise the Kepler Commerce Collective. Benny had met Zex Thor here 5 years ago, when his cargo ship had suffered cascade failure in its Shaw Fujikawa Drive. The Thalaxian, a methane-breathing species that resembled an ambulatory crystalline formation, had fed him, housed him, and taught him the basics of interspecies cuisine while the repairs were completed. They'd stayed in contact. Benny had visited twice more. Never once had Zex Thor mentioned a wife, let alone a child. The medical scans were clear, Elsa continued, her tail swishing behind her in controlled arcs. Stage 4 silicon degradation. His crystalline matrix was fragmenting. He had 6 months, maybe 8, with stasis treatments. Benny felt the weight of that. He told me he was retiring. Technically true. Elsa walked past him toward the observation deck, her daughter, who couldn't have been more than 7 standard years old, following silently. He retired from living. The diner's main serving area sprawled before them, a circular chamber with a transparent aluminum dome offering a panoramic view of local space. Kepler 442's orange dwarf star hung in the distance, its light painting the hydrogen clouds in shades of amber and rust. 3 ships were docked at the station's external pylons, a Velusian merchant vessel, a human exploration frigate, and something Benny didn't recognize: all geometric impossibilities in warped space-time. "The operation is efficient," Elsa said, gesturing to the kitchen systems visible through the transparent walls. "The neural net handles 70% of food preparation. The molecular assemblers can synthesize any organic compound on file. The antimatter reactor provides enough power for 300 years of continuous operation, assuming standard maintenance protocols." She turned to face him, and Benny saw something in her expression he hadn't expected: exhaustion. "But the collective's regulations are clear. A Class 4 station requires a sentient operator with full legal standing. As a Vulesian, Harja, I cannot hold property in collective space without a co-sponsor from a founding species." Understanding crystallized in Benny's mind. "And humans are founding species." Article 7. Subsection 42. Elsa's daughter finally spoke, her voice high and clear. Despite the translation matrix, her bioluminescent patterns flickered in sequence: yellow, blue, green. "A Vulesian citizen may retain property rights through marriage to, or legal partnership with, a member of a founding species. Otherwise, the property defaults to collective administration within 30 standard days of the original owner's death." Benny knelt to the girl's level. "What's your name?" "Kira." She ducked behind her mother again, but her large eyes remained fixed on him. For 3 weeks, Benny tried to understand the systems Zex Thor had built. The neural net kitchen could prepare meals for species with biochemistries ranging from carbon-based to silicon-based to exotic matter configurations he'd never encountered in textbooks. The diner's life support maintained 17 different atmospheric zones simultaneously. The waste recycling achieved 98% efficiency, converting refuse into usable compounds through a quantum-catalyzed process that violated at least 3 laws of thermodynamics he'd learned in school. Elsa taught him everything: She knew the systems intimately. She'd helped Zex Thor build half of them, upgrading the diner from a simple way station to a technological marvel. "Why did he leave it to me?" Benny asked one night. After the last customer, a Velusian poet who'd spent 4 hours nursing a cup of synthesized methane, had departed. Elsa was cleaning the main counter, her movements practiced and precise. "Because you were kind to him when you didn't have to be. Because you asked questions about his life, his culture, his interests. Because in 5 years, you treated him like a person, not a service provider." She paused, setting down the cleaning implement. "And because he knew I couldn't keep this place alone. Vulesian law, collective law, human law, they all say the same thing. We're second-class citizens in a universe we didn't ask to join. He gave you the diner because he knew you'd do the right thing. That's what I'm trying to figure out." Benny watched Kira sleeping in one of the station's small quarters, her bioluminescent patterns dim but still cycling through their colors. He thought about his cargo runs, the life of transient employment, the freedom of moving between stars with no attachments. He thought about Elsa's tired eyes and Kira's careful silence, and Zex Thor's crystalline laughter echoing in his memory. "We're partners," Benny said finally. 50-50. You run operations. I handle the legal requirements and deal with human customers. Kira gets to stay home. We name it in all 3 of our names. Human law allows that." Elsa's bioluminescent patterns flared bright, cycling rapidly through colors he'd never seen before. Her tail swished once, twice, then stilled. "Zex Thor chose well," she said quietly. Outside, a new ship approached the docking pylons, its drive signature painting trails of Cherenkov radiation across the stars. The wandering neutrinos systems chimed softly, preparing to welcome another traveler. Benny smiled and headed toward the kitchen. "Let's see what they want to eat."